My feet. It's just too good for me. Well, hello. We're doing a bit of sparring. Now today we're going to talk about a new piece of equipment I recently purchased. They are Saber sparring gloves from Silkfencing. Let's have a look at them. Well, here's the product in question. These are Saber sparring gloves by Silkfencing. Now these are designed specifically for HEMA, Sabers in particular, and as you can see, I'll get a bit closer here, they have very good quality. The stitching is tight, all the different little parts are perfectly crafted. Take a look at the inside. The material seems excellent. There's no real defects on it. There's no loose threads or obvious shortcuts. It is a very well made piece of equipment. Here we go, we've got a label on the inside. It has Velcro here, obviously, put your hand in. And the layout is just perfect. The fit and finish is really good. So we're going to take a look at some of the features of this glove. The first thing I noticed about these gloves was the actual size. I must admit, when I saw the picture online on their website, I pictured something a little bit smaller. I imagined it to not be quite as large. For example, by comparison, here's a pretty standard MMA glove. I thought they'd be close to this kind of thickness and density, but as you can see, it's definitely a lot larger. It's probably better to compare it size-wise to give you an idea to this 16-ounce boxing glove. It's definitely a larger glove than what I was imagining. Therefore, it's got more padding and better protection, so I'm not complaining. That is definitely a positive. Now, this may seem rather trivial and obvious, but when you get gloves of any type, it's a good idea to look at the neutral resting position of the glove. Here it's almost like a semi-grasping type of action. Now this is very important. Anyone who's worn really cheap work gloves, which are just like two pieces of leather slapped together, know that if you get a tight glove that doesn't have a good neutral resting position, squeezing your actual hand open and closed becomes quite a chore. That's why boxing gloves are shaped already roughly like a fist. These ones, it's clearly got a good grip shape to begin with. Also now, while we're here, if you look on the inside, you can see this webbing. It's definitely got a bit of grip to it. This is going to hold the Saber nice and tight and in place. There's these extra lines here, which coincide to where the handle would sit inside your hand. So it's a definitely well thought out piece of material. And the way they've stitched all together, once again, the fit and finish is just amazing. On the other side, you see here protecting your fingers, you have these little scales. I actually quite like this. It's almost like a gauntlet type, aesthetic, but in leather, obviously. The thumb is protected, as well as this section of your hand here that gets hit quite a bit. You've got some large pads across the back of the hand. That is a very typical target. And what can I say? The inner wrist, this strap here is itself padded. That's going to give you a bit of protection. We've got these flaps and this extra strap here. I think it's a very well thought out product, the way they've designed it, which is the main and most important thing about this is something designed specifically for Polish Saber sparring. You could use it for other sparring, HEMA in general, Saber sparring, any sort of sparring, but they definitely had Saber, Polish Saber in mind when designing this glove. Alright, now that I've got it on, that feels quite good. Now let's pair it with the obvious sister product to this. The Silkfencing Sparring Sabers. I've talked about these on a previous video. Now it fits inside it quite nicely. There's not a hell of a lot of room to spare, but it definitely works. As you can see, the guard slides right between these two pads here. It just rests perfectly in there. Obviously, some people would like to spar with this grip. and I don't see why that wouldn't work. You definitely have protection on the upper part of your hand where you might receive blows. But in this classic key lock grip, the glove's already there in the neutral resting position, so it just fits nicely. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Now let's try the other one. The one with the specific Polish thumb ring. This one's my favourite one. Yeah, that fits quite nicely. I talked before how the thumb ring was open specifically so you could wear a glove with this particular Sparring Saber, and that's just perfect. As you can see, it just snug. It's basically, it's like, well, they are literally made for one another. Let's have a look at our handles. Well, the is, yeah. Feels good. I mean, you're never going to be 100% as free feeling as if your hand is there, but just a tiny bit of, that's that tiny feeling of your hand being held by the glove up against this is a small price to pay to protect your knuckles. Yeah. I've got no problem with that. I think that definitely you could spar all day with one of these, and that's not going anywhere. This webbing really is just locked onto the handle. Yeah, I definitely approve of that. Okay, I like the aesthetics of the glove. I like the build quality. I like the way it fits. I like the way it functions. Now let's see the most important test, how it protects. Now, I know this is deeply upsetting to you to try and hurt your own father, but yeah, go ahead. Harder. Are you even doing it? I can't feel anything. I can't feel anything. Either the gloves are working or you're incredibly weak.
I'm not weak.
Really?
Yeah.
Go full swing. Oh, again. Accuracy is important to train. Okay. Maybe I could get you a kid size. That might be the next thing they could make. Alright, we're gonna turn the heat up a little bit. This time she'll use a solid heavy wooden boken and both hands. Okay kid, let's see what you got. Harder. Alright, the other hand.
How is this not killing you? You'd be dying if this was your bare hands.
Okay. Those ones you could feel a little bit, but once again, nothing too serious. It's like if you have a sort of bag glove and you hit a punching bag really hard. You can feel it through the glove, but it's not exactly hurting. So that's a pretty good demonstration. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, all my steel sabers, all my steel shovelers, they're sharp. So I don't have any blunt sparring swords to test it out. But I'm sure that'd be fine with this. I mean, obviously, if you used a steel one, with any edge on it, you'd cut a hole in it, and I don't want to do that because I love these gloves and I want to keep them. Ooh. Ah. Anyway, so yeah, they're selling these on the site and they're new products, so I thought I'd just make a very quick video introducing them and talking a bit about them, because on some of the Facebook pages, the Jersey frequents, they've been discussed. People have asked if there is a good glove for Saber sparring, and well, there is. I found it. Well, I found it on Silkfencing.com, and
You're gonna hit me, Dad.
no, I won't. You never hit your kids. Anyway, once again, goodbye, do widzenia, and I approve of this product.